It makes the problem worse. But how much worse can it get when a county of my size, and by far Oneida County is not the largest county financially or populated in the state of New York. But in terms of a Medicaid population, in terms of when we're owed $32 to $34 million, and our reserves are only at $24 million for cash flow. And if you ask any business out there to look at it from that perspective, to say that, well, how can you manage a $360 million budget that has to provide essential services to the people of this community when we're not getting paid for the very services that we're required to perform for the state of New York.
Okay.
So it is to some extent a double-edged sword, but at the same time, I don't see why we should go and borrow at this point and jeopardize our financial situation, put us further in the hole for a problem that was not of our making. We did not make this problem. The state of New York did, and they need to pay us. I mean, the FMAP money is an excellent example.
Right.
The so-called stimulus money.
Right.
Which, when it came down the pike, was supposed to come to the counties. It didn't.
Okay, hold on, because actually we don't think at this point we're getting the FMAP money. But before we even get there, I mean, this is sort of like the equivalent of like chaining yourself to the front gates of the Capitol. You were supposed to wire almost $1 million into the state's coffers, and nobody noticed that it didn't arrive. Well,
I mean, the wire transfer was supposed to take place on yesterday, as of yesterday. Usually at times, if it's late, they usually call a day or two after. We didn't hear anything today, so my guess is someone will call my finance commissioner probably tomorrow and ask where the money is.
And what will you tell them? You'll say, I'm sorry?
Well, I'll tell them, go call the governor's office. They've got the letter that says what we're doing.
And how long will you hold out? Because it could actually end up costing you if, in fact, they start inflicting interest and penalties and that kind of thing. You're going to have to give in.
Well, I mean, it's as I said, it's the double edge, but I mean, how much more is it going to cost me if I have to go out and borrow $15 or $20 million and pay over a short-term note, which will further, as I said, will reduce our credit rating. So anything we go to bond market on will jeopardize any of our future projects or our overall debt service. I don't want to go in debt. We're not in debt right now.
Yeah, so a lot of your...
my county has been above the fold.
Yeah.
And I want to stay that way. And we've worked hard, myself and the Board of Legislators, to make sure that we would stay that way in terms of even in these difficult economic conditions.
A lot of your colleagues, or some of your colleagues in the county executives, have actually gone that route, as you noted. In terms of the FMAP money, now we're seeing that Congress is probably not going to put that money into the unemployment bill that's going to be passing, and that's $1.7 billion, I think, that the state was expecting to receive, most of it coming to the state. They're fighting over whether or not there'll be a contingency plan. Do you have any idea about how that will impact local governments like yourself, if that money doesn't come?
The FMAP money that I believe you're talking about is the one for 2011. As we know, we're still getting the 2010 money right now. But the way we're getting it is they're just reducing our payments. You know, that was another way that the state made out, if you will, in terms of their financial situation. When FMAP was first announced, they said, and the people in Congress, Senator Schumer came to Oneida County, said this money was going to come directly to the counties. It didn't come to the counties. It went to the state. The state held on to it and just reduced our weekly Medicaid payments. So again, the state benefited from millions of dollars across the state for all the counties that they could gather interest on and put in their bank. And we got a reduction in our weekly payment. I'm not complaining about that. That was a good thing, and that remains a good thing. But it's not like we got the money and we're able to hold on to it for the year the way the state has. So even with that, I mean, if it doesn't come next year, it is a problem. It's been a help, but it goes back to the problem that the state really needs to take a look at, and I'm talking about New York State, needs to take a look at really doing what 48 other states do in terms of Medicaid and really take it back.
Before I let you go, I just want to ask you, you're not up for re-election this year, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
no,
just checking. No election year stunts. That's not what this is about.
No, it's not an election year stunt. It really isn't. It's about managing my county's finances and delivering services properly, and I can't do that under these circumstances.
Well, County Executive, I want to thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your time, as always. Thanks.
Thanks again. I appreciate the time, Liz.